Hello 540 students and soon to be graduates. With this video, I'm going to explain the elements of the contract that you will work on with your workplace supervisor, your field work supervisor. This shows our Blackboard site, and let's go to the Dropbox where the contract is contained, and that would be the Fieldwork Dropbox. And I've put the contract right at the very top. So this is the file that you'll download, which I've already downloaded, but it'll go to your downloads folder. So you're going to download the file listed here. You're going to work with your supervisor to develop the enabling objectives, activities to achieve these objectives, as well as the products, evaluation, and target date for completion. You should have really good detail with this contract. And when everything's completed and I've approved it, then you'll also upload it to your LiveText portfolio in the Fieldwork Experience section. So that's the instructions briefly for the contract, but let's take a look at the contract itself. This top part of the contract is simply the biotype information, where you'll fill in your name, your place of employment, and your phone number. It can be a work number or a cell number, or you can put both in there. And then you type in the fieldwork supervisor information, their name, the location of the field work, the supervisor's email, and their phone number. Below this box, you'll simply type in the credit hours that you registered for the class. Most of you are registering for 2 or maybe 3 credit hours. So then you just multiply that by 25 to get the contact hours to put in this box. And then the term that you are taking 540. And then the suggested fieldwork completion date, you could put in the completion date that's in the schedule if you like. So that's the easy part. Let's look at some of the information now that you're going to need to be creative with your fieldwork supervisor. The very first thing that you need to consider is what is the terminal objective, the end result. What improvement are you going to make with that organization? And it should be a brief statement. It's just simply an objective that states the end result of your fieldwork. How will the organization be improved? If you're working on a particular type of initiative like a new product introduction or a new employee introduction or gathering data for decision making, that's simply what you state. So that's the terminal objective, and it should be just a simple statement with an action verb. And then the rest of it is you're going to be thinking of enabling objectives. So if the terminal objective is the end result, the major piece of work, the enabling objectives is what's the work that you're going to do in the process of completing that terminal objective. In other words, the enabling objectives, they are stated in terms of performance with an action verb that allows the terminal objective to be attained. You're going to have at least 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 activities involved in each one of these enabling objectives. And then you're going to have at least 1 product for each enabling objective. So you should have at least 1 product per enabling objective. These products are 15 points of your final grade. So you need to name each product according to its enabling objective number. And then you'll need to have a suggested completion date for that particular product. Ideally, you're going to have some of this completed at midterm because you're going to have a supervisor evaluation to fill out. So let's look at what an enabling objective is now. So you would write enabling objective 1 and then write the objective out in terms of a performance action verb. I will create a needs assessment for such and such section that will determine. Something like that would be an enabling objective. You write out the task. What are you going to do? What is that objective? And you should have 3 or 4 or even more of these objectives because each one of these will have activities So in this case, enabling objective 1, write out the enabling objective 1 and then a description. And then for each activity, so you'll have one which corresponds to enabling objective 1, the activity name, and you can describe it somewhat here. There again, this one still pertains to enabling objective 1. What's the activity name and a brief description. So as a result of completing enabling objective 1, you're going to have some type of product. In this case, I've got objective 1.docx. In other words, this is some type of document that is the result of that enabling objective 1. And then you would have the suggested month and day of completion. And I've got 3 examples here: enabling objective 2 with 2 activity name, objective 2. In this case, it is a PPTX or a PowerPoint file. So this might be based on the needs assessment conducted in enabling objective 1. I will create a training intervention in PowerPoint, and then some activities that you would have used to as you worked on the PowerPoint, such as creating the slides, writing the narrative that's in the notes pages, finding some relevant graphics for each of the slides. So those would be activity names. And then the end product then of objective 2 would be objective 2 PowerPoint, and then suggested month and day of completion. Same thing for objective 3. In this case, it's a spreadsheet. So this might be the results of a survey. So you would have, in this case, I'll provide the results of a survey based on the needs of the training. So here you would have a number of activities. So if you're developing a survey, you might have create the survey instrument, collect the survey. So these would be activities. And then the final product would be the spreadsheet itself with the results. These could actually be products also, and you would include them here as objective 3A, 3B, and so forth. So they might be a Word document, such as the survey instrument itself. And there again, the month, day of completion. So I've just written out 3 enabling objective examples pertaining to the 3 normal types of files that would be associated. And you might and you probably will have more than that. But there's going to be one objective that everyone's going to have, and this is going to be objective, and that'll be your last one. So replace the pound sign with that last objective number. And this is just going to be a simple document. We'll call it an executive overview that gives the rationale for the field work, that it might include any obstacles that you might have overcome, and your opinion of the success of the project. So this is just a one-pager, and this helps me put in context all of the enabling objectives, the terminal objective, and all of the products that you've developed. So this is that executive overview, just a simple one-page paper I'm looking for here. So that would be the objective, and then the activities would be you're going to be keeping a weekly journal and activity log. So the activities would be to review my weekly journal and activity log for details. So then this would be objective, whatever that last objective is. So if you have 4 or 5 objectives, this might be objective 6. And the due date would be the final due date of all the final products. So this is what you work on with your fieldwork supervisor. So the very first thing you need to decide with your supervisor is how you're going to help. What's that 10,000 foot thing or what's that 10,000 foot view? What's that going to look like? In other words, how's the organization going to be improved? And you don't have to be wordy here. It's just a simple statement or maybe 2 statements. How are you going to help the organization? And then you write a number of enabling objectives with activities. You have to have at least one product for each enabling objective. It could be a Word document, a PowerPoint, or a spreadsheet. And then your final one would be a short paper that is an executive overview type of document that all of us will have. So that's what's going to need to be included in your contract. Whenever I approve your contract and it's worth 5 points, that's going to suffice for my signature. As a matter of fact, there will be a date on that too. Whenever I finally approve your contract, that'll suffice for my signature, and that's I'm the university coordinator. Now, your workplace supervisor does need to sign it and date it, and they should sign it and date it before you get started too much on your field work itself. But before you get too far going on your field work, you need to have an approved contract, and so that's requires the supervisor's signature with a date and your signature. So after I approve it, and I will state that in my feedback, then and only then do you print this out and have your supervisor sign it and date it, you sign it and date it, and then you will upload it as a PDF file back to the assignment. So that's about it for the contract. This is a most important document because this sets the tone for the rest of the semester. So that's all for now.